January 19, 1862.
Soldiers didn't have much of a chance to live if they were seriously wounded in battle. Picture it, you're keeping the enemy at bay by shooting one round every 20 to 30 seconds, but as you pack your musket with gunpowder, you get hit in the stomach by enemy fire. In the 1860s, injured Civil War soldiers on both sides had to just sort of lie on the grassy knoll and play dead where they were shot in the hopes of an ambulance wagon coming by and tending to their wounds. If they were lucky, they had a flask full of sipping whiskey to numb the pain from the hole in their belly. If these soldiers were extra lucky, a horse-drawn ambulance wagon would come by with medical supplies and patch them up. If an ambulance wagon wasn't able to reach a wounded soldier out on the battleground, they would most likely perish. Getting shot by the enemy with the Springfield Model 1861 musket was bad. But you know what was worse? Disease. The thing is, you might have lived if you were shot, but if you got sick, caught a disease, or developed an infection during what's been called the bloodiest war in American history, you were as good as dead. To put it in perspective, the Union suffered the loss of 44,000 lives from dysentery. That's the equivalent of 10 Gettysburg battles. More men died from disease than anything else during the Civil War.
Would not only take its toll on the men, but also on the weapons they carried.
The night was very cold and it had been raining, sleeting, or snowing all night. Our old flintlock muskets were wet and water-soaked. Our regiment spent about 10 minutes trying to dry them out and be ready for the fray. Lieutenant Spencer Talley, 28th Tennessee Infantry.
Near daybreak on that dank Sunday, lead elements of the Confederate Army encountered Union pickets on the Mill Spring Road near a small stream known as Timmy's Branch. In the half-light of dawn, a volley from rebel muskets surprised the troopers of Colonel Frank Wolford's 1st Kentucky U.S. Cavalry. As the outmatched horse soldiers took to their saddles and headed for the rear, the advance guard of the pursuing Confederate Army came under the guns of the pickets of the 10th Indiana screening the road. A heated skirmish began to rage in the first light of the day as a lone horseman dashed back to the Union camp to spread the alarm.
The enthusiasm for the Union espoused by the majority early in the war dimmed as Kentuckians saw the war goals of the Lincoln administration changing from just preservation of the Union to include the destruction of slavery. Thousands of black Kentuckians responded to Lincoln's call for African American volunteers, a development that outraged Kentuckians fearful of disruption of racial relationships that had lasted for generations, and of the economic cost of losing their human property. Slaveholding Kentucky kept its traditions alive as long as possible. Slavery remained perfectly legal in the state. The Emancipation Proclamation didn't apply here until the ratification of the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution months after General Lee's surrender at